Hi everyone, my name is Nilesh Mathure and I'm from SaasTribe. So today we have Pavel Ershov. He is the founder of Directual. It's an app on Appsumo currently. They're doing an LTD, and there is a lot of interest on Directual, particularly because it's a matured app as well as it's a very powerful app based on the feedback. Now, there are quite a few questions which the community has. So, Pavel, welcome, and why don't you give a quick introduction about yourself?
Yeah, sure. Thank you for inviting me. I'm Pavel. Some 7 years ago, my mate Nikita and I founded Directual. We had an idea to let people create powerful apps with minimum of hand coding in a high pace. So we founded Directual, and nowadays I would say that Directual one of the most powerful platforms for no code and low code development on the market. And I was happy to introduce our lifetime deal this month. So thank you for inviting. I will be happy to share all the details, referring our platform, and answer all the questions.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Paul. So there is some feedback already. I'm posting the comments on the screen. So Aditya is saying, looking forward to this one. Always wondered how difficult it is to use Directual because it seems
Mhm.
pretty powerful from its description. So I know you have demos and everything. We can do a quick overview, but it is important that we take a lot of questions so that it will be good for some of the users to answer questions. Now, can you quickly answer that, Pavel? Like how powerful how easy it is, how difficult it is. Can somebody really do it with no code or no coding background at all?
Yeah, and let me share the screen. I have the presentation with a lovely slide referring to that particular question.
Okay,
Uh, 1 second.
okay. 1 second here.
That is it. So,
I see it. 1 second. 1 second. I'm gonna let me change the scene. Oh, 1 second. Actually, you know what? Let me go into the bigger screen. 1 second, please. Um, Sorry about that. 1 second here. Yeah, this is much better.
yeah, great. Thank you for the assistance. Let's have a look at the market. And there are a lot of no code and coding tools for development, different kinds of apps. And we could put them on on that uh, on that line from flexibility and flexible and powerful features such as React, Octa, Firebase. Those tools are mostly for developers. And on the other side, uh, really easy to use no
Yes.
code, zero code tools like Universe, Tilde, and so on. And Directual is somewhere in the middle uh, in this picture.
Okay.
We could compare it with Bubble or 8base. It is more sophisticated than, say, Webflow or Integromat because it has more features for your backends and so on. So, uh, and for using Directual really effectively and efficiently, you might probably have to learn some basic computer science. So it is very useful to know how to IT systems on the internet communicate. So you would probably,
Yes.
uh, sorry.
No, no, no. I'm just acknowledging. I just said yes. Yes. Please
Yeah.
continue. Yeah.
Uh, so uh, it seems inevitable to learn the basics of JavaScript and to know the JSON format, how to handle it, how to transfer it, and so on. But nevertheless, more than half of our users are not developers. So they started from scratch. They learned Directual, having the documentation, having their examples and the templates. And we already have the community of users, and seasoned developers are always ready to help, ready to assist to learn Directual. And if you asked me how long would it take to learn Directual from scratch for non-coder, for non-developer at all, I would answer that it would take 1 month of learning, of figuring out the main features of Directual. So I could I could make an overview of the features of the platform,
Okay.
if you please. So the the main idea of Directual, that Directual is great when you're going beyond MVP. So probably you should use simpler tools such as Airtable or Tilde for checking your hypothesis, for running MVP, for testing and closing. Start fast, fail fast. Directual is great for creating something more sophisticated than the simplest MVP. And
Can you tell me a little bit about what kind of apps have people built with it? Like, I mean, say for example, somebody wants to be a founder, they want to verify their idea. Is it powerful enough that they could use Directual and verify and validate some of their ideas?
yes, it is. And I would highlight two groups of apps which are built on Directual. The first group, 100% built on Directual, using Directual backend capabilities, API builder, and web pages builder. Those are mostly internal apps such as CRMs, roadmaps, or different community management tools. For instance, our own public roadmap is built on Directual. So that, moreover, Directual Web Page Builder is great for different admin tools. And Directual is good for integrating with other no-code tools which are focused on front-end development. And Directual integrates with traditional approaches such as React.js or Angular and so on. And there are a lot of apps on Directual which combine Directual web page builder for admin portals and traditional technologies, traditional approaches for, or other no-code tools for customly made front ends for the product. And for instance, one of the most popular cases is the marketplace. Uh, there could be the marketplace for professional services or for some goods,
Okay.
apps, and so on.
Okay. Okay. So for building marketplaces, it would be Directual would be an ideal platform. You're saying. Now, are there any marketplaces currently on it? Like, do you provide specific guidelines around those use cases? How to get started? Like, how would you build a marketplace and things of that nature? Right? Is there like a
Yeah,
head start?
marketplace is a sophisticated case, and probably for learning Directual, for starting with Directual, it would be easier to have one of the templates. It could be a roadmap template, or it could be CRM, or there are a few more. And to install that template, try to change it somehow, to play with it, or Moreover, there are several end-to-end video tutorials in the
Okay.
learning and supporting section where you could have a look at the process of creating the app on Directual. And as I have said, there are two ways for building apps: 100% on Directual and combining with other technologies,
Okay.
whether traditional ones or no code. So, for getting started, it would be better to focus on Directual and then on its backend capabilities, API capabilities, and web page builder. So, that could be almost any internal app.
Okay. Now, Paul, there's a question here from one of our community members saying, when looking at it, I found it more an alternative to backendless or Xano than Bubble. So tell us what makes this tool different and better than those.
Yeah, yeah. So those are great alternatives for directional and directional. As I have said, mostly backend focused tool. And first, comparing with Xano, Xano doesn't have any backend logic builder. So Xana has database features, then API builder features, and so on, I guess. Uh, Backendless more is more powerful than Xano. It has some uh, backend logic features, scenarios, workflows, and so on. And Directual uh, is more similar to backendless, but at the same time, Directual scenarios are more flexible because they are more abstract, I would say, and Directual is better for scaling. So their plans on Directual include more processing operations, more requests, and so on. And moreover, Directual seems to be faster in processing and in in the backend features. So when we are talking about Bubble, Directual could be the substitution for Bubble if we are talking about some internal app or some admin portal. On the one hand, and on the other hand, we could integrate Directual and Bubble. Bubble is extremely powerful tool for creating beautiful interfaces, but it has some issues with scalability and with backend features. So it could be a perfect match, Directual and Bubble. There is a tutorial for integrating in the documentation, so it is not a deal to integrate it. So it's pretty
Okay.
easy.
Okay. Ernest, so that I hope that answers your question. And if you have any follow up feedback or questions, please comment as well. Can you use it with an offline mode? Went through all the docs, but doesn't say if possible. If it can, I will buy it now.
Uh, Unfortunately, not. Directual is an online tool, so you could not download an app made on Directual and use it offline. So Directual is a cloud-based platform, so you need the connection to the internet to run the apps based on Directual.
Okay. Okay. Now there is a comment here says powerful and LTD offers too limited when you really know how to use it and how it works. So the comment is around your LTD plan, Pavel, like in terms of the plan which you are offering
Mhm.
as part of the LTD. Is it too limited in terms of what functionality and features actual what Directual actually has versus what you are offering, and then you have to buy add-ons?
Actually, not. It is not limited. Those LTD plans include almost all the features production features. So of course, those LTD plans have some limits on load because we are paying for their load to AWS every month, and we could hardly offer the unlimited plans as lifetime deal. But nevertheless, those limits are really high and generous. You could run their middle loaded app on LTD plan, and we included all the pro features to LTD plan. And moreover, there were requests from the community to add custom domain and white labeling to lifetime deal plan, and we approved it. We included those features, including custom domain with SSL and white labeling to LTD. So those plans are not limited; they are production ready.
Okay. Okay. Now, Paul, who was asking this question earlier, actually meant something else. So let me just bring his. So he was asking, can you use it with in an offline mode? And then he meant like basically the app you build. So what he's saying is, can you hook up the database to persist in an offline capacity and sync when back online? That is, service workers. Yeah. Yeah.
I got it. So it is possible theoretically when you are combining Directual with the customly development front end, because most of those offline features are included in the front end part. So if you are building a web app based on some React technologies, and if you include those offline features into your app, which request their backend based on Directual when there is a connection to the internet, it is possible. But Directual web page builder is not made for building offline apps.
Okay. All right. Okay, okay. Paul, please continue with what you had planned to show, and yeah, we can take more questions as they come up.
Yeah, sure. So let me highlight the main problems. Uh, no code development usually gets stuck due to those problems. And there are three groups. The first group is functional limits, when there is no particular feature or you cannot establish an integration and so on. That is the first challenge. The second challenge is scalability. For example, famous Airtable has the limit of 50K records in the database, or Integromat uh, could offer only several seconds processing speed for certain operations, or in other words, RPS is not enough. And the third challenge is security. Of course, when we are talking about MVP development, security is not the issue, but it could become a pitfall when you are going beyond MVP, when you are going to production, when you are gathering more users and more profits. The security issues are matter. Uh, for example, you could create your API endpoint, which is public, and any person on the internet could access your data. Or the encryption, the standard MD5 encryption could be not enough for supporting your needed security level. or the plain role-based access control for sophisticated apps seems not enough. And let us have a look how Directual solves those problems and answer those challenges. First, functional limits. Directual scenarios are abstract. You are dealing with pieces of data, some events, and those fields. And that is why you could implement any backend logic using directual scenarios. And if the standard regular steps are not enough, you could apply some JavaScript, which is really unlimited. Uh, if we are talking about integrations, uh, there is an integration catalog on Directual, freshly baked feature, their catalog of plugins. But if you don't find the required integration, you could apply the universal mechanism for HTTP requesting. Directual could request actively and get requests using API endpoints. And moreover, Directual, as I have said, uh, traditional development friendly. You could combine any type of traditional development with the Directual. Then the second issue, scalability. Directual was made as a tool, as a platform which processes millions of events per second. So we worked with such companies as Vodafone, Schlumberger, and thanks to that, Directual by design is scalable. You
So
could
you have some big customers.
Yes, we have big customers. We have big customers mostly in Europe and in Russia. We started our business in Russia, then we expanded to the world, and from 2016 to 2019, we were focused on the work with the large enterprise customers. So we have cases with Schlumberger, with Vodafone, with UFG. Those companies use the apps made on Directual. And then in 2020, we decided to pivot our business model towards SaaS model and work with mass market. And that is why our platform might seem a bit sophisticated and complicated uh, due to that legacy of working with large companies. But at the same time, the platform is very powerful and flexible. And since launching our SaaS version, we have been focusing on making our platform easier to use, producing more tutorials, videos, and improving our UI and UX. So they're
Okay,
actually
great.
scalable by
Okay, great.
design.
Okay, so in so it's very capable. From what I'm gathering, Directual is a very capable platform. You still need some basic understanding of programming concepts, JavaScripts, and things of that nature.
Yes,
To
yes,
Yeah,
that is it. But at the same time, that is not a rocket science.
true.
Uh, Learning basic computer science is inevitable if you decide to create some app. So at a certain step, you have to learn the way different systems communicating on the internet, or the basic JavaScript could be learned in a few days, really.
Okay,
Uh,
and
and
where would you start? Like, do you have any pointers on your site where absolute beginners
Yes,
could
yes,
start?
of course.
Nature.
So you could sign up for free, even without any LTD plans. Uh, you could use freemium to check it out, to get acquainted with the platform. There is a section learn and support. There are video tutorials which explain the basics of the platform. Then there are several end-to-end video tutorials of building an app on Directual. And moreover, any user could request the support on chat, and we will provide him with proper documentation pages, proper tutorials, and so on.
Got it. Okay, great. Okay, and for Appsumo, like so for some of the plans, some of the deals which are a little bit complex in nature to use, in Directual being a no-code, low-code kind of platform, are you planning on offering any type of training or anything to people who buy the LTD, or like maybe a certain tier of your plan?
Um, we haven't offered such products, such trainings, but that is a great idea, and I suppose that um, in a couple of weeks we are going to organize such a online boot camp for newcomers, because the deal on Appsumo seems to be very efficient. We have more than 400 new customers,
That's great.
and that is a great idea to launch a kind of online boot camp for those customers, to plunge them into the platform details quickly.
Okay, great. Yeah, yeah. It would be really useful. I mean, and I have taken off me myself off screen so that you can get most real estate. And sorry to interrupt you there in between, but yes, please continue, Pavel. S-
Yeah, that is a great idea. We definitely will organize an online boot camp
Okay, great. Thank you.
for the newcomers.
Okay, thank
I
you.
guess it will happen on in September. In a month.
That's great. Yes, and you are part of our community, so welcome to post. And for those who are watching it live or going to watch it the recording, please take a note of that. So I mean, if you are going to, if this is a platform where you are a little bit hesitant, then Pavel is going to consider around doing an online boot camp, which I'm sure which will help a lot of beginners, right? So thank you, Pavel, for that. Yes, please go ahead with your rest of your yes, yeah.
Yeah, and we could have a look briefly at the main sections of the platform. The first basic section is a database. That is the basic thing for any app. Nothing outstanding, but the one thing, the actual database is absolutely okay for millions of records, in contrast with Airtable or Bubble. Then one of the most profound and flexible features of Directual is API Builder. You could easily create any RESTful API for your front end, totally secure. Security could be data based, it could be role based, user based, with a certain validation, with a with the possibility to establish webhooks. Then one really cool feature, the request could be processed synchronically. It means the third party system requests the actual, then the object is being processed in scenario, and then the response, the result of processing, uh, is sent to the third party system. And as an example, before launching a deal on Appsumo, our dev team needed to establish an integration, pretty sophisticated integration with Appsumo servers, and we did it in no time, building 3 scenarios and 2 endpoints on our API builder. So we developed an integration with AppSumo on our own API builder.
Very cool.
Yeah, that impressed the guys from AppSumo. So, moreover,
Yeah.
we are developing our platform, Directual on Directual. We have been doing it for the last year. For example, our billing module, the logic of counting the load, then sending invoices, and all the billing issues is made on Directual scenarios. So we are building the platform on the platform. And as I have said, the scenarios, the heart of the platform. Basically, that is a workflow builder, but the steps of those scenarios are quite universal. They're not focused on the particular business processes or something like that. So that is not a marketing automation only tool. That is a tool for building your logic. It could be run in real time, in real time, in milliseconds, or those scenarios could be run uh, according a certain schedule. So those scenarios are really powerful in terms of creating business logic, because those scenarios could be interconnected, uh, and you are not limited in their backend logic.
Okay.
Then
Okay.
active
So,
integrations. Mhm.
so there is a question about API URL white label option, and do we have a server region choice? So, like, do you have various regions where, like, if say users are located in
Yeah,
Europe or
yeah. Great question. So we have got a lot of requests for the feature of choosing the region. As of today, there is only one region for storing your data, United Kingdom. But we are going to introduce the feature for choosing the region, UK, Europe, North America, or Asia, later this year. So we are going to introduce it this fall. Nowadays, there is only one option, the UK.
okay, okay,
And another
and
question I see, how about the API URL white label option?
yes,
Uh, uh, as of today, there is no such a feature of white labeling API. You could use custom domain white label for your front ends, uh, but mm, there is no plans for implement that feature white labeling API. That is possible, and you could add the request on our public roadmap. There is a link in the platform, and if there are enough upvotes for that feature, we will include it to our development roadmap and implement. So it is possible, but we haven't included in the roadmap yet.
okay. Okay, there is another comment here from Aditya. If possible, and if time permits, it would be great to see a glimpse of some example apps created on Directual.
Yeah,
So,
sure.
okay, okay,
Uh, I will I will
that's
show a
yeah.
few.
So, Carlos, you asked a question. What app is this? That's Directual. It's on Appsumo. So have a look, and then feel free to ask any questions you have. Yeah. I'll just take one more, Pavel. What are the extra cost of getting the platform published after creating it using Directual?
There are no any extra costs plus to those mm, plus to the plans. There are no extra costs if you use LTD plans. So you could launch an app, publish it. So you don't need to buy additional AWS or something like that. So if your app produces a lot of load, much load, and the app hits the limits, you could turn on the option of on-demand resource consumption, and there will be some extra costs for extra resource consumption. That is the only extra cost. And
So, Joe, I hope that answers your question. If you have any follow up comments, feel free. What type of databases can create? And can we integrate the databases with Google Data Studio?
uh, first, referring to the databases, the Directual database is NoSQL database Mongo under the hood, but you cannot integrate it with it directly, only via API endpoints. So that is the basic database for the cloud platform. If you have your data in some external database, there is an option to establish so-called database listeners and to integrate your MS SQL, MySQL, or PostgreSQL database with Directual and get data from that database to Directual directly. And the second question referring Google Data Studio, yes, it is possible, and there is a proper slide. You could use HTTP request integration. Google Data Studio has API, and you could connect that API from directional scenarios and get the data, then process that data, handle it somehow, and use in your applications. The
Any
next
AI
step,
modules?
yeah. There is no built-in API module in Directual, but you could use any third-party AI model and uh, build that model in the Directual scenario. So Directual scenario could request the external API model, then get the response with some results and proceed with the data. But there are no any built-in AI capabilities in Directual.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and let me show a couple of examples.
Yes, please.
So the first example, that is the app 100% based on Directual, both backend part and front-end part. That is our public roadmap. You can see there are some features, and any user could upvote the feature. For example, uh, that is the feature of quick search in forms with some pictures. Then there are additional pages where we could upload the features, what features the request is processes on backend side. We could see here different capabilities, including the table with the list of features I am watching. It means that if the status of the feature is changed, I will get uh, the notification. So here we are managing our releases. Here we are managing the users. The site is mobile friendly. So if we turn it to the mobile view, we could see that. So that is a standard web page builder of Directual.
Okay.
And the other example, the combination of Directual and traditional development. Let's have a look here. That is the marketplace based on traditionally coded front end. So that is a kind of e-commerce store with some pictures, with option to log in, to sign up, to buy something. That is the uh, e-commerce site for the huge mobile operator in Russia. And we could see the application itself. That is the Directional platform, and here the roadmap, and that is the platform. Underneath the hood, we could see the load produced by that app. We could see all the web pages. That is, we could set up those components, preview the pages here, and there are scenarios. For example, let us have a look at the processing of subscription requests. Here we are getting the subscription request, checking whether we need to subscribe or unsubscribe, and there we are proceeding with certain actions. So we are editing the field. Here we could see the small piece of JavaScript, but as I have said, that is not a rocket science. The function concat is the function for adding the element into array. So we are adding the subscriber. That is it. So the API builder is here. Those are API methods our front end is dealing with. So we are choosing the certain fields for available for reading, available for writing. Then here the conditionals on user session. So for example, the role should be God. That is the name of admin role here, God. All right. And you asked the question referring to the learning.
Yes.
That is the section for learning support. And here are the basic video tutorials. You could read or you could watch the video, whatever you want. So the basic overview, database, API builder basics, API builder advanced features, templating features, then a few end-to-end video tutorials, the learning materials, and so on. All right.
Okay. And are these modules, learning modules, like gamified or anything where people complete certain learning module and then you give them a little bit of an incentive or something, so more people learn, it motivates them to complete those modules. They get some additional limits on your platform maybe, and then they actually use it, right? So
Uh, so the limits are not connected with any certification or any learning process,
yeah,
uh, but if
no,
our
I'm just suggesting that. I mean,
yeah,
yeah,
uh, but nevertheless, if we know that the person knows the platform and the person has built a few apps, we could provide him with the clients because we have the flow of requests to build something on the platform, and we're going to launch additional app on our platform, a kind of a freelancer marketplace where we could provide our users with clients, with the requests for building apps on Directual.
very cool. Okay, that's great. So there is an incentive for people to use Directual and learn. That's what you're saying. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So a comment here from Aditya. So if we start hitting the lifetime deal limits, is there an option to move over to a subscription plan, and will the subscription limits and add over the LTD limits? So he's saying that they get to keep the LTD plus they're just paying for the additional subscription limit. Would that be the case? And
Yeah, there will be the opportunity to turn on the on-demand resource consumption for additional cost, of course, because that is not free for us. We could hardly provide users with unlimited lifetime plan.
yes,
But of course, the app is not blocked for forever when the limits are hit. There is an option to switch into another plan or to turn on-demand resource consumption.
okay. And also, do we early adopters get a discount on the subscription plan? So, is there a discount for the users who buy the LTD on Appsumo? Like, do they get a
Yeah,
discount
yeah,
on
of
your
course.
subscription?
We posted it on comments on AppSumo page. All the early adopters have a special coupon, Sumaling, which provides them with a discount for all the plans, 30% discount.
Okay. Okay, great. So, Carlos, I think we covered this question. Do I need to be a developer to use this app? Not really, but you still need to have some level of understanding, some programming concepts, JavaScript, and things, which you can
Right, right.
probably learn. It's
And if you
useful.
are not a developer, you probably will spend additional time to learn the basic computer science.
Okay. So, there is a comment here from Julio. Looks really great. Thanks, Julio. And can you embed videos?
Yeah, yeah, sure. Let me show you right now. So we are going to our web pages builder. We're going to the home page, and here we have a few components, including video. That is it. Here we are pasting YouTube link, and we will see the. Let us pause any YouTube. I don't know. That is from Simpsons. That is it. So we just have embedded the video on our in our app.
Okay. Jace, John, I hope that answers your question. That's great. It was very quick. Okay. And yeah, I think we are at the end of our comments so far. So it's going good. Yes, that's good. Paul, do you have any thing else you want to share, or can we go back to this? You're welcome to continue sharing what you have. Yes.
Yeah, sure. Let us complete the slides.
Yes.
So active integrations, we already have discussed it. Then the web page builder, mostly focused on internal apps and role-based portals. That is mobile friendly. You could insert forums, tables, cards. Uh, the white label feature is expected to be released later this month in 2 weeks. So that is it. So thank you. And we are open for the feedback. So as you have seen, there is a public roadmap. There you could post any feature request, bug report, any ideas. Reach us out on our support chat on the platform. Here's it. So feel free to connect us. You are welcome.
Okay. Okay. Great. So, um, so guys, I hope you got a good understanding of the platform. And oh, we have more comments here. Hi, Pavel. I think it is also possible to make a DB structure so that we can also apply visions into ideas. Will it be possible to make JSON API endpoint?
Yeah, sure. That is the ideal case for Directual because you could set up your database, visions, ideas to connect those to tables, and then in no time to create JSON API for that.
So Ruhani, the guy who's commenting, he's also a developer. He's developed one of the very popular
He's
WordPress
developer
plugin.
because he knows what JSON is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He had developed a very popular WordPress plugin, which is used by millions of people, called WP Optimize. So, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, the WordPress is a great match for Directual.
yeah.
One of our customers has already developed a WordPress plugin which connects WordPress and Directual.
So there is a WordPress plugin which connects WordPress and Directual as well.
Yeah, that is in beta. Our customer demonstrated it to me a couple of days ago.
Oh, very cool. Where are you located, Pavel?
Our head office in Moscow, but we are going to relocate in to San Francisco later this year.
Very cool. Very cool. Okay. So you still have a lot of customers in Russia, right? So you will have you're going to relocate the HQ, or you're going to have an office in San Francisco.
We are going to relocate HQ and keep engineers in Russia.
Okay. Very cool. So thanks for including the white label feature, Pavel Ershov. Definitely needed. That's a
Yeah,
comment
you're
from
welcome.
the team. Thanks, Ruani. Thanks for your comment as well. And where is the LTD link? So, Carlos, the LTD link it's on Appsumo. If you search for Directual, I'll leave a link for you, or maybe somebody can comment and leave you a link. But if not, I will send you the link. It's on Appsumo if you search for it. It's called Directual, yeah. And that makes a lot of expansion possible with WP plugin. I have been to Moscow a few times. I love Yandex as well. Thanks.
Nice to hear.
We actually have a user who said hello to you in Russian. I'm pretty sure he uh, searched on Google Translate, or Dean, unless you speak Russian, I'm not sure. But there you go.
I speak.
Oh no, no, I mean Dean. I'm talking
I
about
get
Dean.
it.
Yeah, of course you do for sure, Pavel. So there you go. Thanks, Ruani, for the link. Carlos, if you want, you can check them out here. That's the link. And okay, so let's get back to some other questions, Paul. That's a very powerful platform. How big is your team,
Uh, at the moment, about 5 engineers.
and how long have you been building it?
So we have building for 7 years, and we had more employees. Our team reached 35 people when we worked with the large enterprise customers because we had a significant mm, team
Yes.
for providing our customers with professional services. So we made apps on our platform for our enterprise customers. And then we decided to pivot to mass market. So we moved our professional services department to our clients and partners and keep the engineers only. And since the late 2019, we had about 5 engineers in team.
So it's a very
We
mature platform. You've been in the market for 7 years,
So we started building our platform
7 years.
7 years ago, and we launched the first version just 5 years ago. So it
Okay.
took a lot of time to develop the MVP because it was very sophisticated for MVP. So the platform is huge in terms of the count of code coded.
Do you have any? Do you have a lot of users using it in combination with Webflow?
Yes, we have users who started using Directual in combination with Webflow. Most of them are located in Israel, so their Webflow is very popular.
Okay. Okay. And why is that?
I don't know.
Okay. Okay.
That's just a coincidence.
Okay. So, Carlos, what is the business opportunity you see with this app? Money? Yeah, it depends. I mean, if you're asking about your opportunity, Carlos, it depends what you come up with, right? I mean, you can validate your ideas in things of that nature using this app. If you want to run some ideas, it would be a perfect platform for you to build something on and test it and see if it makes sense and improve, right? Okay. And how long is your campaign running for, Powell, on Appsumo?
Uh, by the end of August.
Okay. And how many total users you have since you decided to go on like the mass market, focus on end users, small businesses, opened it up from enterprise business, right? Like how many users
As
do
of
you have?
today, we have about 10,000 users.
You have 10,000 users. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And how do you see yourself compared to some of the more, I would say, known, not necessarily powerful, as you saw your first slide, like Bubble and things of that nature? Where do you
Yeah.
see yourself?
So Directual seems to be the perfect tool which uh, uh, which is applied after the experience of applying other no-code tools. A lot of our users launched their products or tried other tools, hit some limits, and they switched to Directual as a more powerful tool, but still no-code tool.
Okay. Okay. Now, in terms of, I think you mentioned you have a co-founder. What is your role in Directual?
So I'm chief executive, and also I'm an front-end engineer and designer. So I'm plunged into the product development. So I'm
Okay.
chief executive and chief product.
Okay. Very cool. And what about you have a co-founder?
Yeah, the technical guy,
Okay.
the genius who managed to create the architecture and all those things which allow our customers to scale their apps.
Okay. Okay. Now, in terms of usability, like limits on AppSumo, is it pretty easy to predict based on like what you're offering, what your plan is, what tier users should go for?
Um, the question is which tier should the person get, right?
Yeah, I mean, and let's say I go with like tier two or tier three, or
Yeah,
like
look, so the subject of AppSumo deal is our new team plans. They were made for agencies, freelancers, and the main difference between tiers is the quantity of apps, the quantity of sandbox slots for your apps. If you don't need to develop a lot of apps simultaneously, you probably don't need the highest tiers. If you need one or a few apps, tier one or tier two would be the best choice.
okay, okay, and if people have follow up questions, Paul, you are in the community, so I hope you can answer them because a lot
Of
of people
course,
are in
just
different time zone.
tag me there and I will answer.
Okay, great. And do you have a community of for Directual users where users can go and see what people are discussing, what they're talking
Yeah,
about?
sure. There is the Facebook group. There is a link to a Facebook group in the platform, in learning and supporting section, or I could post the link in the
Please.
comment.
Yes, yes, please do. I'll tag you into this live stream post, so you can go ahead and post it. Or if you see it, please go ahead and post it.
Sure.
Okay, so I guess that's it for me. I really appreciate you coming on, Paul, and answering some of those questions and showing the overview. I hope you arrange some training as well for the users who are going to adapt into the platform, especially for those who are very new to programming a little bit. I mean,
Yeah,
I
I
know
got
it
it.
can be a challenge, but maybe if there are pointers, resources where you can point them as well. But I appreciate you joining, and then all the best with your campaign and all the best to Directual. Any
Thank
closing
you.
comments for you? Please go
Thank
ahead.
you.
Yeah.
That was a pleasure.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.